The new life of Carlos Alcaraz without Juan Carlos Ferrero. I can have an opinion, I can decide. The world number 2 has explained how his life has changed after parting ways with the man who had been his coach since his early days. After withdrawing from Barcelona, Madrid, and Rome, and with doubts about whether he will make it to Roland Garros, Carlos Alcaraz appeared this Tuesday on the official podcast of the Mutua Madrid Open. Among other topics, the Mercian spoke about what his current life and routine are like after breaking up last December with Juan Carlos Ferrero. According to the world number 2, with Samu Lopez, his new coach, he has gained more freedom, especially off the court. Now I more or less have a say. I can give my opinion, I can decide, I can communicate what I need and when I have to stop and when I need to train, he explained. In addition, the winner of 7 Grand Slams emphasized that he has reached a higher level of maturity in recent months. I had many ups and downs in which we had to learn a lot. Before, pressure and nerves could get to me. Now I take it much more naturally, much more calmly, enjoying myself on the court, he added. After his split with Alcaraz, Juan Carlos Ferrero begins the conquest of China. The Valencian expands his tennis academy with a new Asian headquarters. The international expansion of the J.C. Ferrero Tennis Academy adds a new chapter in Asia. The project led by Juan Carlos Ferrero has begun operating in Shanghai, where it is already active through agreements with different local clubs while progressing toward the creation of its own academy in the city. Ferrero presented the project in China. The initiative was presented during Ferrero's visit to the Asian giant, in a move that reflects the ambition of the project, to replicate in China the comprehensive model that the academy develops in Spain. The plan includes building a center with sports facilities, a residence, and academic training, with the goal of offering a complete environment for the sporting and personal development of young tennis players. In this first phase, several coaches trained at the academy are already working on site, focusing both on player development and on training local coaches. The structure will grow progressively, consolidating the project's presence in the country and expanding its reach within Chinese tennis. The expansion is supported by the business groups Act Sport Technologies and Guanyu Sports, strategic partners with experience in the sector and a clear commitment to the development of the sport in China. The collaboration is not limited to Shanghai but aims to promote tennis nationwide through new initiatives. Among them is the creation of a tournament structure linked to the academy, as well as the organization of clinics and training camps in different cities across the country, reinforcing the spread of the working method that has earned the project international prestige. This step forward comes at a time of transition for Ferrero within professional tennis. After ending his tenure as Carlos Alcaraz's coach at the end of 2025, a relationship that marked an era of success and established the Mercian among the world elite, the Valencian coach appears to have doubled down on developing tennis from the grassroots level. Carlos Alcaraz cast doubt on his participation in Roland Garros. I prefer to come back a little later and come back well. After receiving the Laureus Award, the Mercian prioritized his physical health over defending his title and drew attention across Paris. The tennis world received a cold shock ahead of Roland Garros. During the Laureus World Sports Awards Gala, where he was honored as the best athlete of 2025, Carlos Alcaraz raised concerns by referring to his physical condition and the real possibility of missing the French Grand Slam. The Mercian, who last year won the title after an epic 5-hour battle against Jannik Sinner, was clear about his current situation. If I push myself at this Roland Garros, it could harm me a lot for future tournaments, so we'll see how the test goes, we'll rely on that. Despite the mystique surrounding the Paris tournament for Spaniards, Carlitos seems to have learned from the injuries that recently kept him from the top. I prefer to come back a little later and come back well than to come back earlier and come back badly. You have to take care of yourself because a tennis career can be very long, he concluded, making it clear he will not risk his body if he is not at 100%. According to the Spaniard, his priority is to focus on recovery and return to competition as soon as possible. Right now the main thing is to recover, train well, and compete again. Given how close Roland Garros is, starting on May 18, Alcaraz's situation seems critical. His participation is seriously in danger. At present, the chances of him missing it are higher than seeing him compete on the Paris clay. The world number 1 has just said something about Alcaraz that really caught my attention. And it's not what you expect. Jannik Sinner was present this Monday in Madrid for the prestigious Laureus Awards Gala, an event that brings together the biggest stars in international sport each year. The Italian, current world number 1, attended with a relaxed and approachable attitude, despite knowing he was not among the favorites to win an award this year. Nevertheless, his presence did not go unnoticed, and he was one of the most sought-after tennis players by the media on the red carpet. The recent champion of the Monte Carlo Masters 1000 took the opportunity to speak with reporters and, as expected, one of the main topics was the situation of his great generational rival, Carlos Alcaraz. The Mercian is going through a delicate moment after getting injured in his debut at the Conde de Godó, a circumstance that has raised concerns ahead of the upcoming major events on the calendar. Alcaraz appeared in Madrid wearing a visible brace on his right hand, which showed the extent of his physical issue. In addition, the player himself admitted he could not guarantee his participation in Roland Garros, which begins in about a month and where he is defending his title. This uncertainty adds even more tension to the clay court season. In this context, Sinner did not hesitate to show support for his rival and fellow tour player, offering words that reflect both respect and sportsmanship. Right now Carlos is going through a difficult moment, so we hope to see him back on court soon, maybe in Rome. The Italian went further, emphasizing the importance of competing against the best. When you want to win, you want to do it by beating the best in the world. These statements highlight the healthy rivalry between the two players, who are expected to define an era in world tennis. Beyond the competition, Sinner made it clear he wants to see Alcaraz fully recovered as soon as possible, both for the good of the sport and for the challenge of facing him at the biggest events. The 2026 Mutua Madrid Open seems to be under a spell of misfortune. While the organization was still processing the impact of Carlos Alcaraz's brace and the absence of Novak Djokovic, a new chill has swept through the courts of the Caja Mágica. Jannik Sinner, the man who has dominated the start of the season with commanding authority, has raised alarms after his latest training session on the main court. What was supposed to be a routine practice alongside the Argentine Thiago Tirante ended with an image no one wanted to see, the world number one complaining of a sharp pain in his left shoulder. Under the attentive gaze of his technical team, led by Simone Vagnozzi and physiotherapist Andrea Sapala, the Italian completed the session, but his visible discomfort when finishing his serve was a sign that the wear and tear of a hectic start to the year has begun to take its toll. The text outlines a significant transition period in the career of Carlos Alcaraz, both on and off the court. Following his split from longtime coach Juan Carlos Ferrero, Alcaraz describes a new phase in which he has gained more independence and control over his routine. Working now with Samu Lopez, he feels he has a stronger voice in decision-making, from training intensity to rest periods. This shift has also contributed to a noticeable increase in his emotional maturity, as he explains that he now handles pressure and nerves with greater calm and perspective, allowing him to enjoy matches more. At the same time, Ferrero has embarked on a different path, focusing on expanding his tennis academy internationally. His project has already begun operating in Shanghai, aiming to replicate in China the comprehensive training model developed in Spain. This initiative includes not only athletic development but also education and personal growth, supported by strategic partnerships and designed to have a long-term impact on tennis in the region. On the competitive side, concern is growing around Alcaraz's physical condition. After withdrawing from several key tournaments and dealing with visible injury issues, his participation in Roland Garros is uncertain. The player himself has made it clear that he prefers to prioritize his recovery rather than risk worsening his condition, showing a more cautious and long-term approach to his career. Meanwhile, world number one Jannik Sinner has expressed support for his rival, emphasizing that he hopes to face him again soon and at full strength. Their rivalry is seen as one of the defining elements of the new era in tennis, built not only on competition but also mutual respect. However, Sinner has also raised concerns after experiencing discomfort during a training session at the Mutua Madrid Open, adding further uncertainty to the current season. Overall, the situation reflects a broader moment of change in professional tennis, where rising stars are balancing success, physical demands, and important career decisions that could shape their future in the sport.